Hey, what is up, team? Hopefully you're having a great day. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about participation in the process, aka when you start feeling the strain, how do we keep on keeping on? Because here's the reality. I'm going to get a crystal ball and I'm going to forecast what's going to happen in the future. Okay, so far in phase one and phase two, you've been crushing it, obviously. That's why you're here, and that's just normal, typical stuff. You'll notice that you've probably lost quite a bit of weight, 5-10 pounds in the first month. You're like, oh my gosh, I got 50 pounds to lose. I lost 10 pounds in the first month. Dude, we'll be done with this bad boy in 5 months. And then life starts punching you, and the reality is you don't lose weight that fast. You don't lose fat that fast in general in the long term. And so we start feeling a strain, like, why aren't I going faster? What am I doing wrong? What is going on? And just in general, life starts happening. The allure of joining a weight loss program starts to fade, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just that, hey, we start getting, it's not a new thing anymore. And so we kind of start just letting the process kind of be something that just becomes, I don't want to call it mundane, but I want to call it like, for what it is. It's just the fanciness, the shiny object is now not as shiny. And people start falling back into bad habits and just bad ways of thinking, or just the processes that kind of got us here. And so because of that, we're going to start attacking some ways so that we can participate in the process. Now, if I haven't already, I've probably talked to you about doing this thing kind of like a dance, like you and I are dancing, okay? And if you just stand still while we're dancing, it's awkward because I'm already an awkward dancer. And so if you're just standing here and I'm trying to like twirl you, or you and I are starting to do ta, 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 and you're just standing there like this, like, weird. It's going to be weird. The whole pride's going to look funky. The dance is going to be weird. Everyone's going to be like, what the heck are you doing? And we don't want that, right? Because in this dance that we are, that is coaching, we need equal parts. I need you to dance with me, and I need to dance with you, right? If one of us stops dancing, it's going to be weird when we're doing the tango, right? So there's 3 levels of participation we're going to talk about. And you have been in every single one of these layers up until this point in your life, and I can show you how. First layer is called a passive participant. Now, this is in any form or fashion of life in any given arena. As an example, I was a passive participant in learning music. I had no idea that you could play the same music on the bass guitar as you can with the piano. In fact, I now know you can sing the same notes and it be the same song. Now it'd be weird, but it'd be like, happy birthday, da 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 da, and on the bass, boom, 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 and the piano, da da da, ding, 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 whatever, right? So I don't know those. If you're any of you guys that do music, you're like, oh, you're doing a G instead of an F, whatever, dude. You get what I'm saying. All right. So past participant. What does this look like in nutrition? Sit down and go, what sounds good? What sounds good today? Good, bad, or indifferent doesn't matter. It just is. It's not bad. It's not good. Okay? And so this is a passive participant. We go down like, all right, what sounds good? What are we going to eat today? What are you thinking? Chinese food? Are you thinking salad? Are we thinking having some barbecue? We're going to some pizza. Are we going to have some salmon and red potato? It doesn't have to be bad crap. It's just what sounds good. What food sounds good? And why that's a problem is there's no context to calories and macros. Because if every meal was what sounds good, it's not likely going to hit your targets you need to make adjustment into your nutrition. But also as a passive participant, we're not focusing on that right now. That's why it's not a bad thing. Okay. But being in this game for a long time, unlike music, you're going to likely run into some problems. You're likely going to run into some heart attack, diabetes, obesity, having some nutrient deficiencies, might have cramping, might have some water retention, all these sort of things, not that great. So no context to calories and macros, desire for food is the sole purpose, and no long-term thought into nutrition or effects on the body. Again, bad, no. Good, no, just is. Now, next level is called a passive or partial participant. Not passive, that's the first one. Partial participant. What does this look like? Well, this looks like this. You're going to the restaurant and you go, I want some buffalo. Because again, you're in the middle. You're kind of like graduate to the next level. And you're like, you know what? Buffalo sounds bomb and buffalo is delicious. And you go, I think I'm going to opt for the buffalo chicken salad instead of a sandwich because it's a salad. Salad's got to be better for you. So I'm going to opt for that. Now, if you're somebody who is calorie conscious, you would know, and you were to look up beforehand, you would know that the buffalo chicken salad actually has more calories, slightly more protein, but more calories than the buffalo chicken sandwich does, and has more fat by a large margin, which is interesting that the calories are so close, but whatever. Okay, carbohydrates are still pretty high, right? And protein's off by 5. So you would actually be eating more calories with the buffalo chicken salad, boneless buffalo chicken salad. And that doesn't include the dressing. So when you include the dressing, now we're talking a lot. And you're like, how does it get so high? They use deep fried chicken, the same chicken that's on here, but they use deep fried chicken, and then they have like the little strips of something, blue cheese on there. It's a lot. It's a lot. So insanity. Crazy. Now, partial participant it has goals, right? Because there's a shot. You're like, well, I probably should opt for the salad instead of a sandwich because like I'm trying to lose weight. So if I eat a sandwich, it's got to be worse because there's bread on it, and there's bread on the salad as well. And you might, well, I'll take some of the croutons off. Okay, that might make a difference. Okay, so I'll give that ground. But either way, still higher when you look at it on the outset, and that's assuming everyone's going to put the same amount. I digress. Has goals, but no strategy or knowledge, or they're not implementing it. They're choosing to not implement what they know for fear of it not being good, right, perfect, or indifferent, whatever it might be. Hint, hint, hint. That's what happens often when we do this process. Okay? Goal focus, process deficient. And quite honestly, the majority of America and the world now that we've crossed over 1 billion people who have obesity, who are considered obese in the world, 1 out of 7 people in the entire world. We used to have a starvation problem. Now we got an obesity problem. Terrifying. Okay, partial participant. 80% of people are at the top. 15% of people are in the middle. Maybe even 16%, 17%. Full participants, the last one. This is where we're trying to live in. We're trying to live in. What does this look like? How can I make it fit? That's what she said. Okay, but how can you make foods that you enjoy fit into your plan? How, if you wanted to have the salad versus the sandwich, what sort of things might you adjust? What would you do beforehand? So that we can make it fit and it not be something that goes, oh, I made a bad decision today. Oh, I'll just start tomorrow. Or worse, or thinking you're making good decisions when you're not. That's worse. So how do I stay participating in the game? First is that by doing the program, being in this video, watching this video, okay, you're getting some short-term memory right now. You're recognizing, realizing some things of where you've had fault in. Short-term memory. If I were to teach you something today that wasn't of value, like flamingos are pink because they eat shrimp and the color of the shrimp make the skin of the flamingo pink, you would then go, oh, that's interesting. 3 weeks from now, would you remember that? Now that I'm saying it, you might, but you likely won't because it's not important. Why does it matter to you? It doesn't matter to you. It's not going to change your life, okay? So it's short-term memory. But with consistency, effort, emotion, and time, we can take the short-term memory and move it into long-term memory. Why would that be important? Well, because we want to remember this stuff, right? Like you guys get into coaching. Coaching's expensive. Not losing weight and getting your goals, expensive, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. It's more expensive to not know these things than to get coaching to know them. Far more. Not even for the dollar amount. But the stress of not being healthy versus the stress of being healthy, different stresses, right? You got to pick your discipline. Which one do you want? The discipline or the what's the phrase? It's like the pain of regret or the pain of suffering or pain of discipline. That's what it is. Pain of discipline. Okay. So how do we go from long term to making it to where when hits the fan, We don't go from conscious thought to events that have happened to you. And this is something that you do. As a prime example, if you, like me, if you were somebody that grabbed a knife and stuck it in an outlet, 10 out of 10 don't recommend, don't do it. But when you say there's bees in there, I get curious as a young kid. And so I go, I wonder if the bees feel this. And they did. Turns out. Bang. And then I go, there can't be bees in every outlet. And so I go to another one. Bang. And then somebody tells me, Chris, that's not bees, that's electricity. I go, oh my gosh. Now, if my kid starts walking toward an outlet with something, I smack it out of her hand. And I go, don't do that. It's going to hurt you. Okay? That is episodic memory. How can we, or like when you, right now, go through stress, strain, problems, weekends, vacations, all these things, we have processes that we run in our long-term memory of what we've done before to get us to not have to think as much. Our brain already has the thing already set up for ourselves. So when stuff hits the fan, we go back to our bad habits, which is why staying in the game is challenging, which is why we start falling back into bad habits when we don't put time, energy, effort, and emotion in towards our goals. When we get all reserved and it's not that big of a deal and whatever, it's not, we start getting sus. We start getting like, nah, it's okay that I just didn't track my food for 3 weeks and I'm up 10 pounds. It's okay, it's fine. No big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Okay? You're farther away from your goals now. Not to get a knife and stab it in your side, right? Metaphorically, of course. Not to poke and prod, but the reality is you're farther away now because you're choosing to go back to bad habits, right? So what do we do now? When shit hits the fan and you set great goals and you have behavior change, meaning you go through the same pathway, but the thought becomes events that have happened not to you, like a victim, but for you. How is this going to make me better? How is the thing that I'm going through right now going to make me so much better? That paradigm shift is going to unlock so much potential in you. It's sickening. If you change to you to for you, you're going to crush life. Life is going to get so much easier. But when you play the victim card of, oh, this is so hard, everything's so tough for me, well, I don't mean to be that guy. I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm using a metaphorical you. If you do that, it's going to be harder. Life is going to control you. Instead of you going, oh, today I have 2 ulcers in my mouth and I bit my other side. I'm probably going to get another ulcer because I think I might have ulcerative colitis. And so I have that. And I go, oh, woe is Chris, my mouth hurts. Or I can go, dude, mouth hurts. What can I do about it today? Nothing. Got to work on stress, getting more vitamins in, doing my mouthwash. Hopefully makes it feel better. If it doesn't, that's fine. This is life. I got to get through it. So I'm going to get through it because I'm that guy. Notice the difference. And so playing in the game is about, and staying in the game, is about going from short-term memory to long-term memory through consistency, which 6 weeks ain't enough. 6 weeks, if you're like, oh, I've got this thing down. I have people say this. If you're like, I'm getting this thing down, I'm crushing it, I'm doing the right things, I'm getting it. Dude, 6 weeks is not enough time to go from long-term memory to short-term memory. There's an adage that says you need to have 10,000 attempts at something to get good. It's actually 28 weeks or something, 28 days? No, 28 weeks, I think it is, to be considered good. Not bad, actually. It's like freaking 6 months. Not bad. So 6 weeks ain't long enough. And that is consistent effort. High emotion, as in I want this bad. I'm so pumped. I'm a weight loser. I get after it. I'm doing this. And I put in the time. Not just effort for 5 minutes, effort for the whole day. I worked hard for my workout today. Didn't really track my food. Low effort in your nutrition game, which is when nutrition hits the fan, you're going to roll back to your bad habits. Then we take that. We switch our paradigm. We do behavior change. We go on vacation. I do this now. Why? Because I got great goals. and because I've got high levels of consistency, effort, emotion, and time invested in my game. Notice, none of it's finances. Finances gets the door open, but consistency, effort, emotion, and time is what keeps the door open. So for you, that's the game. That's how we're going to play it. That's how we're going to get you results. And that's why we need you and I need you to be an active participant in your game so that you become somebody that can figure out, I didn't put the last slide on here, whoops a daisy, okay, that we can get you to not if you can hit goals. I wonder if it's at the very end. It might be. No, it's not. But it's at, I thought I put it on there, but must not have. It's not we can't eat it. It is how can we? It's because it's somebody that has process, knowledge, and implements these things. When you do that, you're unstoppable. That being said, have a phenomenal day. Talk to y'all soon.